Well, I'm about to see if this Lubegard will help this transmission. I'm having some transmission issues. If you have been through this before, comment below. It'll help people watching this and probably help me out too. It's acting like it's flipping in third gear, and sometimes it's off, sometimes it's not. It's going in neutral, you know, and the shifting odd times too. The shift sometimes fast, sometimes normal. I don't know. I think it's accumulator piston maybe broke. He's still got plastic accumulators in it for that gear, and it's common. And the wind is stout today. Want to be in level ground. This is somewhat level. I thought my truck puked everywhere, but that's water. Had me worried for a minute. I was like, oh no, and it's just water running, muddy water. I forgot it rained last night. Up we go. You want to check this running at operating temperature, but before we even dive into it, we're going to check it cold, because if it's touching cold, then at least we know we got some in it, because I hate to run this and it's empty. As you can see, we got just a touch on this. I'm parked a little downhill. I know exactly what's the matter with it. I start it up, go through the cycle through the gears. Whoa, wind. I didn't think it was leaking that bad. I mean, I put some in it, but a year ago, I mean, damn, how much can it take? You're supposed to check it at operating temperature. We know we got some in it. So, let's run it through the gears. Reverse, neutral. Turn that music off. The two main ones is reverse and drive. Let's go check it. Non-existent. So of course you want to check it at operating temperature, but it's not going to go up a lot. So pretty much you can check it cold. Just don't overfill it to give it a little expansion, because that fluid does expand a little as it warms up. That's why they want you to check it at operating temperature. I am setting downhill. So the way that dipstick is, I'm setting downhill a little. I'm mostly level. The way that dipstick is pretty much, it should be higher than what I got. So if it's touching me setting a little downhill, it's probably about 2 quarts low. That's my theory. So I'm gonna go get some transmission fluid. I'm gonna put some transmission fluid in it, see if it fixes the issue. But low transmission fluid will cause you to have erratic shifts, just because the pressure sometimes it gets all weird. Automatic transmissions is picky. Even dirty fluid can cause issues, and I don't know when this truck had a fluid change. I ain't never done it. Put some of this Lubegard in it right here. You see it? And this 10th gen, and with the top and alpha fluid, just because I used this stuff in the past. This kind does not have any flailing agents in it, but it does got stuff in there to soften the seals up and everything like that, so it's handy just to add on a fluid change. But they do offer 2 different kinds. Be mindful of which one you buy, and you can't use them in CVTs and stuff. Read your directions, you know, on the bottle. That's what they offer. It's always a pain to open. Down we go. This stuff ain't as thick as Lucas. Lucas is good too. I ain't saying if you're a fan of Lucas, it works. I used Lucas before, but Lubegard's a little bit, in my opinion, more general and easier to add. But Lucas does fine. I would have put Lucas in this if they had it. They didn't have it, so I went with Lubegard. Like I said at the beginning of the video, this transmission does fine. It's just flipping in and out of gear, and we checked it and it was low on fluid. I think it's about 2 quarts low. I bought 2 quarts. Luck on 5 for Fords. I don't know what this got in it. Probably got anything in it. So let's go ahead and add a quart. Sometimes it's best to check this and then guessing at it is what I'm saying. Just because it's easier to add than it is to take any out. But it's not touching dipstick. And that Lubegard is pretty much not even a quart. Lucas would have been about a quart of transmission fluid. But Lubegard is just you know, pretty much a thimble full. Let's check our fluid again. Remember before we weren't even touching the dipstick once we run it through its gears. So hopefully we're touching dipstick now. And I am facing downhill a little bit, so a little bit over full will be fine by me. And I would say we're not touching yet. What it is, you got to be mindful when checking this because there's some left on the tube as you go down there now. So if you're having a hard time to check, then you can pretty well, you see, that's what I'm saying, on the tube. This is what's on it. This is from like scraping the tube. So we're just now touching. So that was pretty much about 2 quarts low. Yeah, I'll call it about, well, we ain't even on it. You can see right here, it's dry. We're not even up to it yet, to that mark. So we'll add some more. I'm gonna add a half a quart and I'm gonna check it. Like I said, it's easier to add than pull back out. I think most of that might be on the dipstick though. Okay. Just a tad above full, I think. Now what we're about right there. So it's still running down the tube. Sometimes it's best to walk away if you have trouble seeing this and check it again. But we are downhill a little bit. Like it's just now. Right there. See, it's going down the tube now. We're getting a wider gap though. Oh yeah, you can see we're leveling off now, but we still got that wide gap down here. And it looks like it's connected now. So we're gonna run it through its gears, give it some time to settle, and we'll check it again. Now that we wound it through its gears, we're gonna check it one more time, and I am sitting down here a little. And you can see, as I said before, if you said I overfilled it looking at it, look at it. That's the first time checking it. If it'll zoom in, we're not even on the full mark yet. See that? So that's when you gotta give it time to settle, because if you don't let it go out of the tube, it can give you a false reading. And if you don't run it through the gears each time, you can get a false reading. You can see right where we at. We're just now becoming on the mark. And I am facing downhill a little. So my transmission was extremely low on fluid. We're gonna have to get under it here the next week or so and find this leak. But I have been driving this truck for about 5 or 6 months and I ain't checked the fluid in it. And to be honest about it, I didn't know it leaked that bad. At least it was something simple with this truck. Now that's all I got. I can't add no more to it because I ain't got no more fluid, I don't think. I might have. It's just something I will have to check in. But we're gonna give it a few minutes, run it through its gear again, and check it. Now that we got fluid in it, we know it's got fluid. I let it warm up to operating temperature. You can check these running. I'm gonna check it running after I do this. But right now I want to get it in the ballpark. Now it looks like we're full. A little bit over maybe, but I am downhill a little. Probably right on the money if I would guess. Right on the money. Check it out. And I'm facing downhill, so once I get in the level, it's going to be a little bit under that little mark. But that's perfect for me. Can you see that? perfect. So she was pretty much 2 quarts and maybe a quarter. 2 quarts and a quarter low. Almost 2 quarts and a half low. See how low we are. Yeah, it's fine right now. I wouldn't complain over that. Test drive. First off, second. Oh, it's back. Okay. Whoa, the camera moved a little bit, but you guys fine. So, what the Lubegard does going on, it's got some friction modifiers that help with like shutter and stuff. Sometimes transmission fluid over time it gets old and the friction modifiers and all the good stuff gets wore out, and then it causes stuff to gum up, and you know, clutch material gets in the transmission valve body and stuff. What Lubegard does is go back in there, it adds a additive in it that helps clean. It helps, you know, pretty much on-gum valves and sticky valves. It helps, you know, the seals that's hardened up due to age and time and lip seals and stuff. It'll renew them. Now, I ain't gonna be instant on the seals if you got a seal issue. But within 200-300 miles, you should notice a big difference. Now, I got the overdrive off in this Ford. That's a Ford feature anyway. Let's turn it on. Oh, instant. So, my issue, it seems, was, turn it back off. Sounds better going down through here. My issue, it seems, was 3 quarts low on transmission fluid, pretty much. Now, the additive ain't gonna hurt nothing. It's preventable maintenance. You know, just don't, like I said, be careful what you buy. Don't buy the one that fails the seals and stuff unless you desperately need it. Your transmission, you know, it needs a little bit of life because them seals and stuff is just wore down. So, you know, the grooves and stuff, it just helps foil them seals and make a better seal and keeps fluid from bypassing. That's what that does. This transmission, as I said, it seems stale. Had a little bit of a shifting issue at the beginning of the video. It's falling out the gear, and the shifts was sporadic. You know, I guess that's the word you could call it. The shifts was on normal. You know, it would shift sooner than it should. It would go first, second, boom, fourth, skip third. It was just all kinds of crazy stuff going on. First gear, second gear, everything's normal now and spaced out the way it should be. Before, sometimes you'd be going down the highway, it'd be first, second, third. You know, as soon as it could. And what that issue was, what I'm trying to explain to you, was low fluid. It was a pressure issue. It probably was sucking air, you know, bypassed the filter and stuff. And it was just low on the fluid it needed at that RPM, so it couldn't function the way it should. It shouldn't damage your transmission if you catch it soon. I have no, you know, worries whatsoever this transmission is hurt, as it still had a lot of fluid still in it. It just get to that point that issues was popping up, and as intermediate the issues is, you're still lubing the transmission, so the transmission fluid has still got protection on it at that time. If you get much lower than that and you keep pushing it without checking your fluid, issues, you toast your trans. Don't do that. Well, the 10th gen did great. Hopefully your issue is something as simple as mine was. Mine just needed topped off on transmission fluid. In the coming days and stuff, we'll put it on jack stands and stuff. See if we can find that transmission leak. So, get subscribed if you're new, and if you're a returning subscriber or viewer, thanks for watching again. Appreciate it. See you next time.